Yu-Gi-Oh! Has come a long way over the years. What started as a relatively simple game about battling monsters, empowering spells, and the occasional well-timed trap card has evolved into something entirely different. Back in the day though, attack power used to have a much bigger impact on the meta, and normal monsters were much more widely played than they are today. That's why today we'll be taking a look at the top 10 most powerful normal monsters in the game based solely on their battle stats. For the sake of vanilla monster purity, pendulum monsters will not be considered for this list. The 10th most powerful normal monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Sengenjin. Sengenjin is a level 8 Earth Attribute Beast Warrior type monster. It has 2750 attack points and 2500 defense. Its flavor text reads, "An unstoppable savage that carries millennium items." This text later received an errata to include an archetype condition. Sengenjin is always treated as a millennium card. This card's Japanese name, roughly approximated for the TCG, translates to Millennium Primitive Man. This must be a reference to the gold items he's carrying behind him, although those don't look like any Millennium items I've ever seen. This card was first released in the TCG as a World Championship prize card all the way back in 2004, but has been reprinted since then, most recently in the 2024 set Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge. The 9th most powerful normal monster is Metaphys Armed Dragon, a level 7 light worm with 2800 attack points and 1000 defense. It has the flavor text, "usually visible despite its phantom existence." This monster dethroned Wingweaver as the level 7 or lower normal monster with the highest attack. Metaphys Armed Dragon is the result of the infamous Dark Armed Dragon undergoing metamorphosis in Draco Senshin. This monster also appears in the artwork of Metaphys Factor. Fun fact, this monster is the first normal worm-type monster ever released in the game. It's also one of only 3 such monsters, the other 2 being Mystery Shell Dragon and another card we'll discuss later on. A gigantic insect-like creature covered by thick armor. Everything in his path is destroyed. This is the flavor text of the 8th strongest normal monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Metal Armored Bug. Metal Armored Bug is a level 8 Earth Insect type monster with 2800 attack and 1500 defense. Interestingly, even though it's covered in metallic armor, its defense is surprisingly low compared to other armored monsters that have increased defense. Nevertheless, it holds the distinction of being the highest attack normal insect monster in the history of the game. At number 7 on today's list is Suppression Collider. This is a level 8 Dark Cybers type monster. It has 2800 attack and 2600 defense, plus the following flavor text. All data crushed by this Network Warrior's hammer is irretrievably compressed. Fun fact, this is also the most powerful normal Cybers monster. Additionally, it's the only normal Cybers monster without the Earth attribute, and the only one whose name does not end in Tron. Admittedly, this is a pretty small group of monsters, not much bigger than the normal worm list. Worms and Cybers monsters aside, this next monster harkens back to the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! In fact, numerically speaking, this is the very first card ever released in a Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG expansion. Can you guess what number 6 is? That's right, number 6 is Tri-Horned Dragon. This is a level 8 Dark Dragon with 2850 attack, 2350 defense, and this flavor text. An unworthy dragon with 3 sharp horns sprouting from its head. In the TCG, its card number is LOB-EN000, as Tri-Horned Dragon was also one of the first 2 secret rare cards in the game, the other one being Gaia the Dragon Champion. Power creep may have skewed many aspects of the game over the years, but it's good to see that cards from way back in 2002 are still able to hold their own on a list like this one. Want to see more trading card content like this in the future? Please like, subscribe, and share this video as it really helps the channel grow. The next monster on our list was also released in 2002, one of the McDonald's promotional cards. The 5th strongest normal monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Cosmo Queen. A level 8 Dark Spellcaster type monster, Cosmo Queen has 2900 attack and 2450 defense. Her flavor text reads, "Queen of the Galaxies and Mistress of the Stars." Cosmo Queen is both the highest attack normal spellcaster and the highest attack normal dark monster. Dark magician who? I guess his flavor text was a bold lie, or rather an italicized one. Or perhaps wizard only refers to male spellcasters. Even though she came out over 20 years ago and maybe flew under the radar then, she did receive two counterparts. Cosmo Brain, a level 7 version with lower stats and an effect that synergizes with Cosmo Queen, as well as Cosmo Queen, the Queen of Prayers. This is a direct retrain with the same level and stats, but an effect related to field spells. The next spot on today's list is a tie between two creatures who have the same attack and defense. The fourth most powerful normal monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are Phantasm Spiral Dragon and Spiral Serpent. Phantasm is a level 8 water worm type monster with 2900 attack and defense. Its flavor text reads, "A ferocious serpent that was being hunted by Atlanteans. Battle-weary and ragged, it came upon an ancient light and gained new strength for its battle. With its increased power, it launched an invasion of enemy territory with a renewed assault." Meanwhile, Spiral Serpent has the same attribute level and stats, but is a sea serpent type instead with the following lore. When huge whirlpools lay cities asunder, it is the hunger of this sea serpent at work. No one has ever escaped its dreaded spiral wave to accurately describe the terror they experienced. Phantasm is actually a worm retrain of Spiral Serpent, and both monsters have the highest attack points of any normal monsters of their respective types. The third most powerful normal monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a creature with a long and complicated past, and an even longer and more complicated name, Gogiga Gagagigo. This is a level 8 water reptile with 2950 attack and 2800 defense. Its flavor text reads, "His soul long since collapsed, his body recklessly continues onward, driven by a lust for more power. He no longer resembles his former self." This monster's story began when he was a young reptile named Gigabyte, the familiar of another monster, Area the Water Charmer. In time, he grew up to become Gigabyte. Sometime later, after being dragged into another dimension, he was attacked, only to be saved by another monster, the Marauding Captain. After this point, he took on a heroic persona and became Gagagigo. Later, in order to repay Marauding Captain's selfless act, Gagagigo returned the favor by saving one of the captain's men. Badly injured, Gagagigo needed to be rebuilt, and the fiendish Kozaki volunteered to help, only to transform him into the monstrous Gagagigo. Kozaki's dark technology took a toll on Gagagigo, utterly corrupting his soul, and the augmented reptile sought to strengthen himself more and more. In the endless pursuit of power, his soul was corrupted further as he became Gogiga Gagagigo. Fortunately, his story didn't end there. Thanks to the intervention of his old friend, the Marauding Captain, Gogiga Gagagigo was reminded of his old heroic self, ultimately redeeming himself and transforming into Gagagigo the Risen. Although Gagagigo's story went down a dark path, the light ultimately won in the end, as it does in today's list. The second most powerful normal monster is Rabidragon. Rabidragon is a level 8 light dragon type monster with 2950 attack and 2900 defense. It has the following unhinged flavor text. It's a snowfield dwelling, giant ear sporting, super acoustic, snowball shaped mutant dragon. There's no way anybody can escape. Rabidragon's name is obviously a portmanteau of rabbit and dragon, but may also be a play on the word rabid, given its intense appearance and lore. Fun fact, Rabidragon has the highest combined attack and defense of any normal monster in the game. However, by the rules of this list, there's one other monster that has it beat with just 50 more attack points. The number 1 spot on today's list needs no introduction. The most powerful normal monster in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Blue Eyes White Dragon. Blue Eyes White Dragon is a level 8 light dragon type monster with 3000 attack and 2500 defense. Its flavor text reads, "This legendary dragon is a powerful engine of destruction. Virtually invincible, very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale." This iconic monster goes all the way back to the beginning of the game, the cover monster for the very first expansion of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. Being the ace monster of Seto Kaiba in the original anime, this monster has been a fan favorite from the get-go. It's gotten effect, tune, ritual, fusion, synchro, and even link counterparts over the years. While it used to be a formidable boss monster in its own right, it struggled a bit to maintain relevancy over the years, getting boosts from support cards and retrains as the game has continued to evolve. Regardless of its shifting place in the game's meta, it's clear that Blue Eyes White Dragon has achieved a legacy that will not soon be forgotten. Its reputation for being nearly invincible is true in at least one regard. Its attack strength is truly one of a kind, cementing it as the most powerful normal monster in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Want to see more trading card content in the future? Please like, subscribe, and share this video, as it really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching.